Hello and welcome to the next entry for the Wind Speaks audio blog. Today I wanted to talk about an interaction that I had yesterday and the contemplation that I've been having since then. And I'll start with the story, which is that I was on a walk that I do regularly, and quite honestly, this is an experience that has happened quite frequently, different places I go. And so in this instance, I was walking and there was a person walking towards me with two little dogs, and the one little dog had lots of energy and just came like bolting towards me and jumped up onto my legs and and jumped up on my pants. And of course it's a dirty trail, so it's like, of course, the jumping up on my pants, it's like there's probably an impact from that. And the owner called the dog back and made this comment about, oh, the dog is 5 months old and lots of energy and can't quite teach her not to jump up. And so this is, again, like I said, something that has happened before. And we passed. I kept walking. Of course, in this instance, I chose not to say anything. I was in sort of a peaceful place and didn't want to break that energy that I was in. And I started thinking about it afterwards, and I was like, wow, I thought to myself, I wonder if this person is going to have that same encounter with everybody on the path. This story of, oh, the dog is 5 months old, and it got me thinking about this cycle of personal growth. Like, there's basically two things, like, as we're wanting to learn and grow and change our behaviors and grow as individuals, all we're really doing is bringing awareness and then a new action. So it's kind of like this cycle of awareness and action. So every time we have an awareness, we can choose a different action. And that action might be to reflect on that awareness and do something about it. But until we get to that place of awareness, we can't actually change anything. So it made me wonder. I thought, wow, like how many days, how many times is this person going to repeat this encounter? And even if someone confronts this person about it, will that person be willing to accept that reflection and change something in terms of the action and taking action? And I just find that fascinating, right? Because that's the dilemma that we're all faced with. It's like there is things that we can become self-aware about given the right focus and attention and dedication. And yet there's so many things that we likely do on a regular basis that we just don't think twice about. They're quite unconscious behaviors. And I know that on my journey that this has been a regular occurrence. I mean, I've been blessed with people around me that I trust and that I value their feedback. And so when one of those people says something to me, I definitely do what I can to take responsibility and reflect on that, and for myself decide what is true about what's being reflected to me, and perhaps what isn't, because we're all just sharing our own perception of things, and we're all just we're kind of projecting our view of the world onto each other. And so there's this filtering out of what is true for me and what isn't true for me, and finding the balance between those things. And even if I use this situation as a personal reflection, I might ask myself, oh, well, what's that part of me that didn't want to have the conversation with this person about what had occurred? Where's that part of me that shied away from having that conversation? And so as I reflect on that, it's like, well, I was having a walk and I was in a good state and I didn't want to interrupt that. And I didn't want to be in a confrontation because it might have gone that way. The feedback might not have been received. And so it's an interesting piece, right? There are times when I have had those kinds of conversations, or when I do make the effort, and some of those just downright felt uncomfortable. Not necessarily because I felt uncomfortable, but because the other person was uncomfortable. Or, yeah, so it's like my reflection is, where do I avoid confrontation? Where do I not step into those opportunities? And for me, that's tricky because often in the moment, I can't discern whether it's right for me to do that or not right for me to do that. I actually need to take time and space. And so if I do react quickly, or if I do respond quickly, sometimes it doesn't go well because I wasn't meant to do that. And so I actually need to take time. And in this kind of situation, there isn't the luxury of that time to come back. I think for me, it's like I need to let my emotional wave kind of play itself out. And that works well in situations where I can come back to that person. And in this case, there was no opportunity to do that. So I think as I flush it out, it definitely feels like it was the right thing to do, to not engage this person. So the point being, I'm seeing what looks to me like an unconscious behavior, and I'm sure that there's many layers to that unconscious behavior for that person. And my hope is that in some way, shape, or form, something happens that brings that to the person's awareness, and they take action which supports them to look at, what's my role in this? Like, what is it that I need to do for this dog so that I don't have these interactions, and so the dog isn't jumping up on people and dirtying their clothes, or whatever the impact is. And some of those things might be big, like realizing that, oh, I don't know how to do what I need to do, and I don't necessarily have the confidence to change this, and so it's easier to just let the behavior happen. And anyway, this is just an example of the unconscious behaviors that we can be playing out, and the opportunity to have some self-reflection and to look at these behaviors and ask ourselves, it's like, why do I continue to allow myself to be in this repeating pattern? And what can I do about it? And the cycle of that is awareness, action. So as we step onto this path of wanting to grow and become more aligned with ourselves, there is this self-reflection that occurs, and we do start to ask these questions quite regularly, and that is where we can start to impact the change that our life might be asking us to bring into our everyday awareness and to shift these things. So I think I'll leave it there. Hopefully there was something in this reflection that was helpful for you. I hope it didn't come across as a judgment towards this woman, this person, because it really isn't that. It's just an observation. And I think, for me, it's like there's a time when I would have had a reaction to that. And so as much as I didn't say anything, I also feel really good that it was just this like like it was not a blip in the radar. It just didn't even, I just kept going, but it was just interesting to notice. So anyway, I'll leave it there, and I look forward to sharing the next audio blog with you. Bye for now.